What's up, everyone? Mr. NoobTube Gamer. Today we're playing CSGO in 2022. We're going to see how the game holds up 10 years later, and if it's still worth your time playing. Now, this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway in case some people are confused. We are playing the PC version of CSGO, and not the console versions, because yes, there was a release of CSGO on the PS3 and Xbox 360 back in the day. The PS3 version has since been shut down, but you can still play Xbox 360 online. The thing is, though, there is not a huge community on the console as much as there is on PC, and the game hasn't been updated on consoles since, I think, early 2013, so you're missing a lot of content if you're playing on console, and there really is no reason to not play it on PC. You can pretty much run CSGO on any computer these days. Even if you have an old piece of shit, it'll probably run just fine, as long as you're not running like a Windows XP Dell computer from 2004 that you found in your father's attic. You should be fine, because it really doesn't have that high of requirements. Even in 2012 when it came out, the requirements weren't that high. So 10 years later, yeah, you should have no problem running this game at all. And as far as the player base is concerned, this screenshot speaks for itself. You have almost 1 million concurrent players right now. Doesn't get any better than that, no matter what part of the world you live in, no matter what game mode you're trying to play. It's pretty much guaranteed that you'll find a match instantly. And not to mention all the private servers and the custom games you can have that add a lot more longevity and replayability to the game. And it's absolutely free. So if you're a brand new player, if you've never played CSGO before, there is no reason not to at least check it out. And it's one of those free-to-play games that doesn't have any egregious microtransactions where the people that pay a shit ton of money, like in GT Online, have a huge advantage over other players that don't put so much money into the game. And GT Online is actually a full-priced game. So, just put that into perspective. CSGO is a free-to-play game that doesn't have any pay-to-win bullshit in it. So that's pretty commendable. All the stuff you'll pay for are cosmetic and not actual things that'll give you an advantage over other players. So I think for that reason alone, it's definitely worth playing, especially if you're someone new. On the other hand, if you're someone that played the game since the very beginning back in 2012 and quit a few years ago because you just got tired of the game and it got repetitive for you and you just moved on to other games, I can't say that the game is so much better now or it has changed so much over the years that it's like a completely different game. It's the same game that you played 5 years ago, just with a few minor tweaks, a couple of balancing changes, a few new maps, and that's about it. So if you just got so tired of the game, you have like 3,000 hours on the game, and just got so sick of it because you played too much of it, then yeah, there's not much I can say that, oh, it's worth playing because it's so much different now than it was back then. It really isn't, which isn't a bad thing because there are games like Rainbow Six Siege that have probably changed too much over time, and because of those changes, a lot of the people that played Rainbow Six Siege decided to quit and move on to something else. I'd say CSGO has been a fairly consistent live service game over the past decade. The funny thing is, I used to hate this game with a passion. Anyone who's a longtime subscriber of my channel knows this. I used to talk mad shit about CSGO and say it was one of the worst FPS games of all time. It's such an awful game, and I can never understand how this game became so popular. For so many years, I just didn't get it. But you know what it was? It's because I only played Team Deathmatch. I came into CSGO with the Call of Duty mentality, thinking that Team Deathmatch was the only way to play this game. It was the only game mode that mattered. Because that's how I was conditioned to think, being someone that mainly played COD. To the point where I never gave the objective modes a chance. Like the main purpose of CSGO and the entire Counter-Strike series is the elimination game mode where you're either planning or defusing the bomb. That is the definitive Counter-Strike experience, and all the other game modes that they have are just on the side. But I didn't understand that. I thought, oh, this game mode plays a lot like Search and Destroy in Call of Duty, and I think Search and Destroy is okay, but I'm not gonna play that as much as I would play Team Deathmatch. So what happened was, I played CSGO and only played TDM. I hated TDM because the spawns are awful, worst spawns in online multiplayer history. I still think that. I think TDM in CSGO is shit, but I never gave the main objective modes any real chance. So that's why I hated CSGO, but actually giving that a chance now makes me kind of appreciate the game a lot more. And you know what ended up happening? I like playing CSGO a lot more than Search and Destroy in Call of Duty. I find it a lot more engaging to play Counter-Strike than COD when it comes to eliminating all the enemies, finding the bomb, planting the bomb, defusing the bomb. I think Counter-Strike captures that experience a lot better than any other game that I've ever played. You know, whether we're talking about COD, whether we're talking about Siege. I'll say Valorant comes close, but at the end of the day, Counter-Strike does it the best. So it took a while, but I'm finally a fan of CSGO and the Counter-Strike series as a whole. So when it comes to CSGO in 2022, I think it's definitely still worth playing. And I'm sure it's one of those games that we'll still be talking about it 10 years from now. It's 10 years old. I think another decade, the game will still be popping off. It will definitely go into history as one of the greatest online first-person shooters of all time. And it's still a lot of fun. The gameplay holds up very well. It doesn't feel like a very old game. I think the gunplay is still solid. Map design is top quality. Everything is great. So definitely check this game out if you haven't really given a chance before. And if you're a longtime player, again, you know, maybe it might not be your thing anymore. But I don't think anybody can deny this game's greatness. Truly a one-of-a-kind experience.